You're not a rikosei anymore. You're not a rikosei anymore. You became a gokusei. The awkward exchange student who comes to Japanese to a foreign student who can actually speak Japanese and hang out with friends.
Yay!
Good day, everyone, and today we come back to you with episode 2.2. I keep saying this again and again, but thank you so much for watching, sharing our podcast, and giving us many likes. It helps both our team and students all across this world who are preparing themselves for an exchange program.
In our last video, we talked with Noppon and Niva, the senpais themselves, about life as a ryugakusei on the Asia Kakehashi Project. I hope we answered many questions that you may have, and today we are going to continue our talk with Noppon and Niva.
I'm sure everyone might imagine being in Japan would lead them to a lot of anime-like scenarios and plots, especially when they go to the high school in Japan. So today we're going to find out whether school in Japan is like what we have watched in the anime. Let's start the talk. I'm sure that your host family is very important, but your host school also probably played a big part in your exchange life. And it is very common that we expect our Japanese high schools to be like the ones in anime or Japanese high school vlogs. So were there any moments where, like, when your expectations were actually different from the reality?
Actually, my school is really different from another school in Japan because my school doesn't have any uniform. So we don't wear uniform in our daily school. So it was so different from my expectation. And when I got along with that moment, it's quite different, the whole school from vlog or anime with my whole school. But there are a lot of moments that make me like feel this is the real school that I want to study. This is the real school that taught me about Japan, taught me about the culture in Japan and what people in Japan is like. So for me, we can see our expectation like in vlog or anime in school in Japan, but don't ever compare our our school to the anime school or to the vlog school in YouTube, because it will be different. And just enjoy our moment, just enjoy what our host school give us, and get along with the friends. Just love our moment, just love what we already get.
Well, I think that like a lot of students think like, oh, you're an exchange student. A lot of people want to know about you, so they will come and ask you. Like some school, yes. Some school, not really. Like, I remember the first day going to school, I didn't know how far from my house the school was. So I literally had a very hard time going there. And then when I went there, I don't know where's my classroom. I don't know where's the teacher classroom is. I don't know where they are. And so I had to sit there for like 20 minutes just waiting for someone to talk to me in English so I would understand. And like, I go to my classroom and then I set my very, very standard Jigo Shokai. Then like we go to class and then like it's just class as normal, class as usual. So there wasn't really any like, oh my god, you're an exchange student, come talk to me. Like, oh my god, you're an exchange student, come sit with me. Like there wasn't really any of that. So you shouldn't just expect others to talk to you. You should also
something to keep in mind, because Japanese students especially, they are a bit shy when it comes to interacting with foreigners or people from other countries. You should take the first step to get into their society and really be close with them, because I actually also had the same experience. My school was a normal school. It's a normal Japanese high school, and it isn't private or anything like that. So there weren't also many English classes or many students who spoke very fluent English. So I had to spend my time trying to learn Japanese and trying to talk to them in Japanese. And I think you have to find things to get to approach them, such as there are some festivals like the Bunkasai, the school festival. I think those are good chances for you to approach them by helping your classmates or by visiting different classrooms with them, like a typical Bunkasai, and having fun. It's also fine to ask them to hang out with you because Japanese students really love hanging out, like just going to karaoke or just going out to McDonald's and eat something. You will also be provided with a monthly allowance from AFS.
Yes.
In order to
that from the last episode, the enrichment
from
fund.
the last episode, the enrichment fund, you will be able to use it to spend time with your friends, like eating McDonald's, drinking coffee.
About hanging out with friends, you have to be proactive, and you should actively try to talk to them in Japanese as well. Reach out to them because they really appreciate your effort to make friends with them and form a bond with them. And a tip would also be to like teach them English or to show them parts of your culture that they don't know about because you're an exchange student and they probably have not met someone from your country before. So take the opportunity to kind of show off whatever you want to of your country and be the ambassador of your country, and at the same time you'll get friends. Yes.
True. In the last episode, I mentioned not to be afraid of making mistakes, whether you're speaking in Japanese or whether just a mistake in general, because you are an exchange student, and Japanese people will understand if you make a mistake because you're not Japanese, you haven't been in their country before, let alone studying in a Japanese whole school. So.
Like talking about mistakes, it was quite funny. Like for like the first few weeks, I barely know any Japanese when I came to Japan, and my pronunciation is quite bad too. So like in Khmer or so most of the Southeast Asian language, we don't have the tsu, the tsu sound.
Yeah, the tsu.
We don't have like the tsu sound for like in my language. So I was like. So the first few days, it was hot, and I was like, achoo, achoo. So like no one understood what I said. And then someone asked me like, what does it mean? And I said it's hot in English. And he's like, no, it's tsu. So achoo, achoo. And then but like the first few weeks it was achoo, achoo.
Oh, that's so cute.
And like, oh my god. So it was quite difficult too because, like I said before, I didn't know any Japanese when I went there. So that was like one of the biggest mistakes I've made. I think like not properly be able to communicate in Japanese before going to Japan because it was really hard for the first few months to like talk to others, express yourself, and like just basically go through life. Without knowing the language. But like the last 5-6 months, or like the last 3 months is like the best time because like you're getting to know more with your friends, you talk more, like, and then you talk to them more, and then like you have fun, you hang out. So I think like I spent twice as much money as I spent in like the first 3 months combined. I spent in 1 month of the last 3 months twice as much money of those combined. So like I go out with friends a lot and stuff. So you start going out more. You start going to different events. You start going to karaoke, to eat.
You adapt.
You became a gokosei. Then you're not a rigokosei anymore. You're not a rigokosei anymore. You became a gokosei. The awkward exchange student who can't speak Japanese to a foreign student who can actually speak Japanese and hang out with friends.
Yay! And I want to add to future exchange students, they appreciate your interest in Japanese culture as well. So make sure to show that and your effort in learning the Japanese culture and language exchange.
So when you're at your whole school, it's inevitable to like when making friends, like you have to be in contact with your Japanese peers at your whole school. So how did you try to make friends? Like what helped you when you were trying to make friends?
Actually, the first months in Japan was the hard moment, like
Definitely.
because we can't get along just like immediately. We have to wait for them to adjust, and for me, trying to get along with them, like just be ourselves. Try to chill and try to talk to them and share our story, our funny story maybe. And there is a tips from me. In the break time, I was like coming to my friends and give them a snack and trying to talk to them. They will probably just try to get along with us for seeing our effort when we want to get along with them.
I agree. It's the effort that counts. What was the hardest part of your exchange program? Can you tell us, like, what was it? How did you feel about it? And how did you overcome it?
One thing you should know about me is that I'm so bad at sports. I don't know why I chose a sports club. I can't run at all, and I chose badminton for heaven's sake. I just want to like challenge myself, I guess. And,
Yes.
like, explore a new part of you that you've never really known. So I would say that now I can actually play badminton in like a good game, like fair game. But it's a very hard thing when you go out of your comfort zone. You are trying something new, and you're not good at it at first. Like, it was super discouraging for me the first few months that I joined, when I couldn't even serve properly. And all of the club members are girls too. So it was like it's a bit awkward-ish and a bit like the first few months we don't talk much because I can't speak in Japanese and they can't speak in English and they are girls and I'm a guy, so it's like the shyness going in. So it's like it's literally every factor, every challenges that like an exchange student meet, I met during that bukatsu. And so it was really hard, and it was like one of the biggest reasons that really brought me down when I was in Japan. So then after that, the teacher started like focusing more on me, and then he would like having like one-on-one lessons with me, and then he would try to teach me, okay, you're doing this wrong. No, you're doing this. It's actually this. Ichi ni san, and then this, and teaching me the steps and stuff. And I really appreciated that. And like the senpai, even though they can't speak English, even though they are girls, they still like come to me and then teach me like, this is wrong, and they still try their best to like give me advices on stuff, like doing action stuff. And so like showing me like she can't speak English and they can't speak English, so they have to show action, and like it's so funny when you don't understand what they're saying, and it's like, it really helped me improve on my badminton skill a lot. Yes, I think that when you fight for something, when even though like you feel like you're not doing it well, when you feel like, my God, why did I choose this? This is so stupid. I'm so discouraged. But you still have that little energy, that little fire in you that ignites, and then you saw that. But I want to overcome that obstacle. No matter how hard I'm going through, I'm gonna overcome it. So that's why, like, I think that is one of the main reasons that gave me that spark, gave me that energy for me to continue doing badminton even after I feel so bad.
My hardest time in Japan was when I was in winter vacation. I went to Tokyo with my friends bukatsu, like badminton. When in Tokyo, I brought the camera that my otosan gave me.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I brought that camera, but my otosan Inoka-san didn't angry at me at all. I just so shocked, like, why they gave me this camera, but they didn't even yell at me or angry with me. They just asked me about is your video, do you take a lot of pictures, do you take a lot of videos? They just asked me about that. They just asked me whether I'm okay or not. They don't even worried about the camera at all. So for me, for experiencing that moment was the hardest part, because I felt that I disappointing them.
Yeah, you definitely felt very guilty and you felt very bad for them,
Yeah.
right?
I was very
Yeah.
guilty, but my host family did okay with that. I feel very grateful forever.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine being in that position. It's a very hard position to be in.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I felt being loved by them. From that time, I did so being grateful for having them in my life.
How has the Asia Kakehashi project impacted your life even until now?
My friends, they were like, why are you talking to me? You never talked to me when you were in Cambodia. Like my classmates, they were asking like, why are you talking to me? This is weird. You never talk to me in class. Yeah, before going to Kakehashi, I do a lot of things. I study, I volunteer, I do a lot of things. So I don't have time to actually sit down and talk to people and like understand about them. But like going to Japan taught me to be more sociable. So taught me to talk to more people, to like be able to network and be able to understand and like empathize with others. So I think that is one of the biggest reasons that I applied for Kakehashi in the first reason. But and also it's what I actually learned from Kakehashi as well as like I want to improve my I want to improve my social skills.
So Neva, do you have any last message or advice for the next batch or the future exchange students?
Yeah, there are like some advices from me for the future exchange. The first one is, of course, don't ever compare our exchange life with other student exchange life because it's quietly different. The second one is try to get along with family, try to get along with friends, with people around us, so we will connect to them. And the third is try to share our story and just be ourselves. Let's be the best version of you and be a grateful exchange student.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that is very useful for the future batches of Kakehashi students.
Well, I think that the advice were like, I completely agree with Neva. She said like a lot of good things. But to just elaborate on that is that be yourself, don't be anybody else. Learn, be flexible, but and also try talking to Japanese first. Try talking to them in Japanese. Make whatever mistake, it's fine. Try talking to them. They will understand your efforts. But one of the most important advice I can give to anyone is that learn Japanese as much as possible. As much as possible. I didn't take that advice from my senpai, and my first 2 months were so bad. It was so difficult for me to handle. And so please learn as much Japanese as possible. Try to I understand that it's hard to learn another language, but try your best. Like if you want tips on how to learn Japanese, you can go with the program of a Super Senpai, or you can even text one of the senpai of us if you want to ask or like you want to learn. So just learn Japanese as much as possible. Make sure that you can communicate in Japanese. Make sure communication is the key. Like I don't really want to stress on reading, writing, but like listening and speaking, and that's what I want you to stress on. So speaking and listening.
We are nearing the end of our interview.
お疲れ様でした。Talking about my school life in Japan really made me realize how it's actually a whole new experience and different from what I've seen in the anime. But it didn't disappoint me at all because the experience was much, much better than what I've imagined.
We hope you gain insight on life on exchange programs, and we hope that it will help you make the very best out of your own.
Once again, thank you so much Neva and Noppon for giving your time and actually reminiscing with us about the old days. I'm sure the stories you shared with us will be enjoyed by a lot of our viewers.
Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for the next episode. Please like, comment and subscribe to our Voices of Kakehashi YouTube channel. If you are still not sure what our video is about, please check out the previous videos and our introduction video that we have made. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.